You said you're not afraid of going to prison because you've been there before. It doesn't scare you. What is your stance now? Speaking from you being my father to a son, because I need to understand this. Just in case I don't have the opportunity to speak to you about this ever. What is your stance on the way you've been treated?
Gaffer, where is your car key? Huh? And the following day we're being beaten up. Oh, I'm telling you, I've never such beating. It was about 30 minutes. It looked like the whole day. He went to one ward and just stood straight and said, "Sir, I'm exhausted, sir." This one I said, "Kuli, Vasaje, Kuli. I'm exhausted, sir." Now the water gave him a clap. You know, a clap, at times your face moves, whatever. He was like a wood. Whoop, and he went just straight. Oh.
At any time did you ever think that you would see the day that South Africa would be free? That South Africa would be liberated as per what you'd been taught and the journey that you were on?
Absolutely. We took an oath in MK. We're ready to fight if need be, as it was very clearly articulated by our leader, Ubaba Nelson Mandela. In the process,
unsung heroes. Yeah.
In the process, many of our brave comrades were lost. And all generations were ready to fight. I mean, we start with those who were sentenced to death in the 60s, coming from MK, and they went to the gallows with all their enthusiasm, ready to serve with everything, including your life. Soldiers, many of whom, or some of whom died in the battles, and also made their mark. But we also had the Soweto generation, etc. We had young people, we had people who were sentenced to death and who were indeed hanged, and some to life. So, not that struggling, I'm saying we were excited and ready to die because it was nice. It was serious, very serious. That's why it was not everyone who was part of it. Others who had an opportunity to do so didn't do it because it was too much for them.
Two, 3 times a month it would pop up. But now these are news headlines and news clippings and general news on the TV that we come across as your children, as youngsters coming up, and it affects us in many ways.
That was the only finding that was made. But just look how my name had been dragged and destroyed by a democratic and justice kind of society that I believe I've fought for. That is unfortunate that I find myself being named as I was named by the racists, that I was a terrorist when I was not, when I was fighting for the freedom of South Africa. This has worried me a great deal as to what type of society are we talking about. Are we so different from how those in authority handled us during apartheid than those in authority today? As you would know, I never participated in the arms deal. I was an MEC in the province KZN. But all people who participated in the arms deal are free comfortable, nothing. I have been singled out as the most corrupt, and I've said, where is the evidence? Again, and that's the reason why, instead of dealing with a number of appeals and permanent stay, etc., I felt, let me go to trial so that we can find where is this corruption.
You know, I've obviously got my views on the way it was handled. I think it was handled in a very suspicious manner. I've raised these concerns with the relative authorities. But once again, sitting and going through that experience, it's quite, the anxiety levels are super high, because you realize and you know that this is not a straight, clear-cut case.
Zuma is corrupt. Zuma is corrupt. People who hate me for other things try to use the system to rubbish me, to destroy me. That is the only worry that I have. And that's why I've said, fine, I served 10 years, in my view, when I committed no crime except to fight for my freedom. And I'm saying now, I'm ready to go to court to prove my innocence. And perhaps my going to court might show other people who did few other things. But that's not my story. I was made to become a warrior, not necessarily for the struggle as such. My nature, my culture, my everything. And I'm able to stomach things. But I can tell you what you are relating. The pains that have been inflicted on me are too severe to talk about.
And we'll continue to fight for what is right. We'll continue to fight for our own lives, for our own narrative.